Meeting to order. Call the roll.
Trustee Healy?
Here.
Trustee Katsinas?
Here.
Trustee Milani?
Here.
Trustee Compass?
Here.
Trustee Reardon?
Here.
Trustee Radiszewski? Mayor Pico.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the June 20th, 2022 special meeting minutes, hearing appeal, Truly Blown Smoke and Vape.
And before we start, I would just like to take a moment for the Highland Park, the town, the residents, the victims of this incident, this horrible incident. That, again, unfortunately, some person with some severe mental issues decided that this is the only way that they could deal with their issues. It saddens us all, and if you don't mind, join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. And I would also like to point out that our police department and all of the neighboring police departments, we do investigate everything, and the best way to avoid any of these incidents for everybody is if you see something out of place, say something. We investigate everything. And most things turn out to be nothing. That's okay, because not everything turns out to be nothing. So if you see something out of place, trust your instincts, let the police know, and let them do their job. Because every one of these incidents that we see, there's always warning signs as it turns out. So please, if you see something, say something. We'll keep hammering that home like we have for the last 5 years. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Katsinas.
I just lost my screen. Sorry. I move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees special meeting of June 20th, 2022 for the hearing appeal of Truly Blue Smoke and Vape.
Second.
That was Truly Blown Smoke and Vape.
I'm sorry. Stand corrected.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Milani?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Approval of the June 20, 2022 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Milani.
move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting of June 20th, 2022. Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Milani?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Accounts payable approval.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I move to approve the accounts payable from June 21st, 2022 through July 4th, 2022 in the amount of $2,095,843.29.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Milani?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Consent agenda.
Consent agenda. We will be taking item F off the consent agenda due to a potential conflict of interest. Item A, payroll approval. Item B, 2022 asphalt parking lot and path maintenance bid award, ITB 22-38. Item C, public works automatic vehicle locator system contract change order. Item D, 2022 sanitary sewer rehabilitation and construction oversight bid award. Item E, 14101 Wolf Road, Orland Park, 60467. Item G, decision on appeal, SNS Global DBA, Truly Blown Smoke and Smoke/Vape. I will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda items A through E and G.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas? Trustee Milani?
Trustee Katsinas. It's a consent agenda.
It was supposed to be E that was pulled, not F.
It was pulled.
E is an elephant.
Opposed to F.
F.
Okay. So we will Then what you should do is make a motion to remove item E from the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to remove item E from the consent agenda.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Compass.
I move to approve items A through D, F, and G.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I have a conflict with F.
Let's do one by one.
Mr. Mayor,
I
move to
I will
approve-
entertain a motion to approve the items A through D and G of the consent agenda.
so moved. Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye. Item E.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon.
I move to approve and ratify the purchase by the Village of Orland Park of the property located at 14101 Wolf Road, Orland Park, Illinois, effective June 24th, 2022, and all the actions taken by the village staff and others for the village to acquire the property on said date.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
I abstain. I had a previous business relationship with the party involved.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye. Item F.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Compass.
I move to approve awarding 143rd Street widening project from Wolf Road to Southwest Highway Phase 2, final design engineering services contract to Trans Systems Corporation of Schaumburg, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $5,399,985. And I move to approve allocating $125,000 as contingency funds to be approved as needed by the village manager and authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts subject to village attorney review. Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
I abstain. I've got a business conflict with a subcontractor on the contract.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Main pump station under drain rehabilitation bid award.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon.
I move to approve the proposal from Genco Industries of Crestwood, Illinois, for the main pump station under drain rehabilitation project in the amount of $159,104, of which $144,640 plus $14,464 is contingency, and authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts subject to a village attorney review, and allow the village manager to approve change orders not to exceed the contingency amount.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? One thing I'll point out is we only had one bidder here, but the bid came in almost $100,000 under the budgeted amount. So that's why we're moving forward with it. Call the roll.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Building Mechanical System Preventive Maintenance and Repairs 22-037 ITB reissue.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Compass.
I move to approve awarding ITB 22-037 Building Mechanical System Preventive Maintenance and Repairs to Midwest Mechanical Group LLC of Lombard, Illinois for 2022 through 2024 with the village's option to extend the contract for an additional 2 years for an amount not to exceed $130,665.60 for 2022, or the annual village board approved budgeted amounts, and authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts subject to village attorney review.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Professional Planning Services on an as-needed basis, RFP 22-039.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
Move to approve awarding RFP 22-039 to Safe Built Illinois LLC for planning services on an as-needed basis in the submitted proposal amount, and authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts, subject to village attorney review.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Malani.
Yeah, just a question for staff really fast. Just to clarify, this is only for planning services, correct?
This contract with the Safe Built is for as-needed planning services, similar to what we've done with the building inspection or building planning review as-needed services. This would just augment existing staff. Okay. So in those periods where the amount of developments that are coming in exceed our capability to meet the customer's timelines, we would use these services to help with that.
Right.
This company, Safe Built, is the same company actually that does on the building side, so the coordination there is very good.
Right. No, I just wanted to clarify it because there was some confusion out there that we might have been outsourcing our permitting process. So I just wanted to make sure we were clear on what this was doing. So thank you.
Absolutely. This is not about outsourcing anything. This is to augment our existing staff levels.
This is simply to give us something that we can deal with excess demand when it comes.
Right. Yeah. So we ramp up.
So
ramp up as the need arises.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yep.
It gives us that capacity if we need it. Call the roll.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Mayor Peacock?
Aye.
Orland Bowl repurposing. Development petition for a special use permit for motor vehicle sales with modifications from the Land Development Code, site plan, landscape plan, and elevations.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Katsinas.
regarding case number 2022/0878, also known as Orland Bowl repurposing, I move to approve the special use permit for motor vehicle sales for Tesla is fully referenced in the motion below.
Second.
Go ahead with the presentation.
Mr. Mayor, we have Attorney Sasson here, and as part of our new process for development reviews, in the Plan Commission, at the Plan Commission stage, the developer is responsible for making their case and making their presentation. Staff serves as a resource. So in that continuing philosophy, at our board meetings, especially for something this wonderful as this project, we will have Mr. Sasson just provide a brief background on the project.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Happy to be with you tonight. It's been a while to share with you a very exciting project for the village. We've been working with our client and the staff for many months. And next slide. To bring you the Tesla, which will be under construction, we hope, very soon. Normally, we don't talk about the formalities at the board, but it's kind of interesting. We, our firm as a policy, notify everybody within 350 feet rather than 300, and it avoids problems. And we did that, and only one person came and just to ask a question. It turned out they were in the extra 50 feet, but there was no other comment that we had from anybody. It would appear that the condo association, who I met with, is also comfortable with this, and to some extent we're accommodating them with regard to the fence, which they were very excited about. So we are there. We're asking, of course, for this special use with modifications. Most of the modifications in your report exist because this is an existing building that's being repurposed. In fact, rather than enlarging it, which is very common, we're actually making it a little bit smaller and putting in a lot of landscaping, which I'll talk about a little later. Next slide. Next slide. Here's the site, and I think everybody knows where the Orland Bowl is. We've marked it in red just to show you what's around there. And what's significant is two things: the condominiums behind it and an office building to the west. To the east is the Chevrolet store, which is in Tinley Park. What we want to present to you very briefly is before and after. Next slide. And this is the before. This is what the parking lot looks like. This is the east elevation of the building. And on the next slide, You'll see the back, which is a big face brick block wall, which is going to be gone and covered up with very, very, very attractive brick. The other thing that's in the site, you'll see in the next slide, which is there's a lot of vegetation that separates this building from the property to the west. We've worked with the staff on this, and most of that vegetation is actually not on our property. It's on the property to the west. But the whole idea is to keep as much as we can there, not take it out, and not disturb vegetation. In my experience over the many years, it's always been a policy when you have a lot of trees and they separate, nothing's better than trees in Orland Park. So we're leaving that. Next, you'll see the rear. In the rear, there's a chain link fence with some barbed wire on it. Barbed wire is not permitted under the code. There is going to be a 6-foot wood fence on the entire west perimeter and the entire south perimeter to screen. In addition to that, on the next slide, you're going to see something interesting. What that yellow strip you see there is flood control. This property, when it rains, is higher than the property, the office building, and the water runs into that office building. So there's kind of a small dam. All that's going away with storm sewers and a reworking. So now you've seen the before. Let's show the after. This is the new Tesla store, which is their brand, very attractive, and a lot of brick and some metal, and of course the Tesla logo. And in the next slide, we presented to the Plan Commission the exact materials that are being used, the color scheme, and the Plan Commission, I believe, was very happy with it. Next slide shows there's guardrails that actually exist going out of the main entrance onto 159th Street. One of them has been covered with vegetation. The other one is pretty much intact. Those are going to be removed at the request of the staff, and we all concurred in that way. In summary, there are numerous improvements that are being made, and part of the improvements are a trade-off. And these are very important. First of all, we're going to fix the flooding to the west. We're going to install a 6-foot fence, face brick on the south part of the building with other additions, a reduction in the impervious surface by 10,000 square feet, which will be replaced by landscaping, and the installation of roof screening that doesn't exist. In the next slide, the unsightly guardrail will be removed, a complete rehabilitation of the exterior, a resurfacing of the parking lot, the installation of additional landscape islands. Finally, we're very proud of the fact that working with Tesla, there's no request for any assistance from the village. Tesla plans to do very well in Orland Park, and I think we're all happy about that, and I think they'll be a great addition. We had hoped to have them here. They actually were at the Planning Commission, but the day after the 4th of July, one of the persons who could be here was out of town. The other one couldn't get a flight here. It's kind of a mess, so because they're not in Chicago very much. So anyway, that concludes our brief presentation. Thank you. We are going to get to work on this building in the coming weeks, not months and not years. And we have to have it open next year. So thank you, and happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Question is for staff. The Planning Commission approve all the modifications? Yes. Okay. And my comment for staff is, can we please look at the bicycle code and please fix it? Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, people get to Orland Park with a car, and 38 spots for a car dealer is asinine, to say the least, in our code. So that way we don't have to ask for modifications anymore, right? Great. Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Trustee Malani.
While it's going to be sad to see, Orland Bowl leave Orland Park, as it's been a fixture here on 159th since as long as I can remember, I do wish the family the best, and I'm looking forward to this new use of the facility. It looks really great, and will blend in nicely on 159th Street. So thank you for all the hard work you guys have put into it.
Any other comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye. And what I will also say is that we now have a demand for some bowling, I'm sure. So for those of you who are looking to redevelop the Sears site, now that AMC backed out, it'd be a good fit.
Ordinance granting a special use with modifications for motor vehicle sales, Tesla Center, 8601 West 159th Street.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Compass.
I move to adopt an ordinance entitled Ordinance Granting a Special Use with Modifications for Motor Vehicle Sales, Tesla Center, 8601 West 159th Street.
Second.
Any comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Wolf Road Widening, Southern Project Limit Extension, 143rd Street to 183rd Street, Supplement Number 4.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I move to approve the proposal for ACOM of Chicago, Illinois for Wolf Road widening from 143rd Street to 183rd Street, Phase 1 Engineering Services, Supplement Number 4, for a not-to-exceed amount of $899,921 in professional fees, and authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts subject to village attorney review.
Second.
And just so everybody knows, this is, so we have the 143rd Street widening project. We also have a Wolf Road one. This is to extend that. Obviously, we're going to get, 143rd is the priority. Wolf Road will be down the road, and so we want to be prepared for that and widen it as far as it needs to be and not stop it like it is currently. Call the roll.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
RFP number 22-025, Traffic Engineering Consulting Services Award.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
move to approve a 3-year contract with 2 options to renew for 1 year with Thomas Engineering Group Incorporated for traffic engineering consulting services.
Second.
And I just have a question for staff. So whenever we have major traffic studies, we're still going to bid those out. This is for the spot things that we have to do in a relatively quick fashion, correct?
Exactly.
Any other comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
MWR DGC Ordinance approving amendments to an intergovernmental agreement.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I move to adopt an ordinance entitled Ordinance Approving Amendments to an Intergovernmental Agreement by and between this village and the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago, MWR DGC, providing for the authority of the village to administer the watershed management ordinance of the MWR DGC and adoption of said watershed management ordinance amendments by reference.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Any non-scheduled citizens and visitors? Board comments.
Trustee Compass.
So, happy Independence Day. I know we had a lot to think about this weekend, but I do want to thank Recreation, Public Works, OPPD, the Village Manager's Office, Orland Fire District, who I'm sure was out there somewhere, and anyone else I may have missed. I know there's always a ton of people involved in putting together this, and it was an outstanding concert, and as always, an outstanding fireworks display, so thank you. As we leave our primary season in voting and move on to the general, I do want to remind our residents here about the change to our state's criminal justice system that's coming up in January. Both Both as a board and individually, we've often spoken here about our concerns regarding recognizance bonds and otherwise ridiculously low bonds given to repeat offenders in Cook County. Unfortunately, we've also started to see this in Will and DuPage and other surrounding counties as well, though maybe not quite as prolific. I'd like to remind everyone that come January, 2 months after the general election, the remaining provisions of a disastrous bill will take effect, thereby virtually eliminating any pretrial detention for repeat offenders. And in essence, the Cook County system that we have today will be worse, and it'll be statewide. I know I'm not alone on this, but I do not believe that eliminating cash bail to the favor and benefit of repeat offenders and high recidivism rates is in anyone's best interest. Cash bail may be an imperfect system, but is about to be replaced with barely any system at all. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. Maybe those on the General Assembly that are up for re-election are hoping that you won't remember that this is coming. Maybe they're hoping that you won't factor it into your vote in November. I hope that everyone out there takes the time, do your own research, understand what is coming in January. If it concerns you at all, let your representative know that you know about it, that you understand it, and that you want it changed. Something certainly can and should be done before this election in November. Don't wait until after. Thank you.
Trustee Reardon.
Thank you. I just want to say our thoughts are with our trustee who's not here today. And also I want to thank staff and police department, everybody last night. The whole weekend really was just fantastic, and there were some very tragic things that went on, and I applaud, you know, the village manager's office, police department, the staff that, you know, continued on with the celebration that we had here. It was done safely. I have 4 children under 16 that were running around. I was outside at neighbors, and I felt very safe with it. And I know there's nothing, there's not something you can do completely to you know, predict or to stop some of these things, but I felt very good to live in the town that I know that they're planning, that they're preparing, that they're working together, they're communicating the best they possibly can. So with what was happening, I really enjoyed yesterday, even with the tragedy that was going on with my family and neighbors. So thank you for all you did.
Trustee Malani.
I'd also like to thank everybody who came out to last night's Independence Day event. It was great to see everybody come out and, as a community, to join the celebration of the birth of this great country. And I do agree with what Trustee Reardon was saying as well. You know, it's great to live in a community like Orland Park where we can feel safe and enjoy ourselves and have a great time to celebrate. I'd also like to bring up that on Friday, June 17th through Sunday, June 19th, our special recreation team went out and had 40 athletes and 11 coaches that went and participated in the Special Olympics Illinois Summer Games. These amazing athletes earned 19 gold, 13 silver, and 5 bronze medals, including winning the bronze in the soccer competition. Some of the other achievements in track and field, we had an athlete clock in a 5:04 mile. A swimmer had an athlete, in swimming, we had an athlete take first in the 25-meter breaststroke with 35.86 seconds. Powerlifting had an athlete compete and had a personal best in a squat, deadlift, and bench press for 530 pounds. And 5 of these athletes, it was the first time they ever competed in the Summer Games experience. First, I'd like to thank and congratulate all the participants in the event. And thank you to all those coaches and staff out there that make these events possible. You're making an everlasting impact on these athletes' lives, and it's greatly appreciated. And tonight we had the opportunity this evening to progress many projects in the pipeline, including infrastructure improvements, continuing to work on widening Wolf Road, and progressing the project to complete 143rd Street between Wolf Road and Southwest Highway. So I'd like to thank our staff who work continuously and diligently to help move Orland Park forward. They continue to make Orland Park a great place to live, work, and play. So thank you all.
Trustee Healy.
Well, I hope everybody had a great 4th of July. It's probably the one day all year that everybody at least considers the history of our country, and I think that they should probably consider our foundation and our founding fathers every day of the year with that. And in conjunction with that, September 8th, there is a museum night out for the Orland Park History Museum. Join us for the museum's second annual fundraiser to celebrate local history. Shop, enjoy music, and try your luck with some raffles. It's a fundraiser for the History Museum, which has got some additional duties to help fund this year and all that, but I hope we can all, especially the board members, renew our memberships to the History Museum and enjoy a night out to celebrate it. It's at September 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Peace Marketplace at 143rd and Beacon. I'll see you there.
And it's important to note Bill will be there. He was here at the beginning of Orland Park.
It's a historical occasion.
Trustee Katsinas.
Thank you. In the village, we have people that work here that lead by example. And I think a good example of this took place over the weekend at the 4th of July. Both our chief and deputy chief were there supporting their men and women that were protecting us. People came in from the midnight shift, came in early as a group and a team effort. They all came together to make sure we had a safe and fun event. So in addition to the other staff members that did a wonderful job, just a special shout out to our police department. We are having a vintage baseball game at Stellwagon Farm this Saturday from 1 to 4. The players will all be dressed in 19th century uniforms. There will be a Joey's food truck there. Interested parties to attend this should check the village's website and also Facebook page. There is a fee to attend this event, but children under 8 are free. Thank you.
Are the players getting their water from the water pump?
And will Bill be wearing his uniform?
So I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I want to thank everyone for a great July 4th. A few things. So to piggyback on what Trustee Compass said, there were changes to our boundaries, and we went from 7 representatives and senators to 8. But the person who sponsored that horrible HB 3653 bill went from about 2 blocks in Orland Park to over 50% of it. Make your vote count, because he does not fit the values of the people of Orland Park. I don't care which party you belong in, that basically no cash bail and allow criminals to run free. So do your homework, as he suggested. We also, and I don't comment on these, and we've had probably over 50 of these robocalls that we've had, but the ones in this past week have passed after the election have been particularly vile and have targeted some people very personally, which is unfortunate. I think anyone who's been around is very aware of who's behind these calls, who's involved in these calls. It's pretty obvious. It becomes more obvious all the time, and the village is doing everything they can, and we will continue to do everything we can to stop those from happening. But this goes back to the, if you see something, say something. If you know and have facts associated with those individuals perpetrating those calls, because they do have a tendency to talk a lot, please bring it to our police. Just encourage everyone to do so, because believe it or not, you'll never know what that one fact is that we get that allow us to clear this case and put an end to this once and for all. Some other things, 143rd Street. So we have some good news that we can say about 143rd Street. It's not a done deal, but out of the Transportation Committee, and I'd like to thank our current representative Marie Newman, as well as Representative Rodney Davis, who's also on the Transportation Committee, who both supported this project. It came out of the Transportation Committee with, I think, $7 million of funding for a section of the 143rd Street project, which, if IDOT is to be held to their word, means IDOT will start funding the rest of it, because we have found found outside funding sources to cover a large portion of this project. That's about 70% of that section. And it will take care of the Southwest Highway to West Avenue section of that road. So all of the efforts that we have made, thank you to engineering, Krashid, for all your hard work in making that happen, as well the village manager's office and all of the emails and letters and everything else and all the support that we've ginned up by talking to everyone. And I know we've reached out to others, and anyone I missed, forgive me. But we have finally, at least got it through the Transportation Committee. Now it has to get approved by the House. And the Senate is part of appropriations, but it's the first step, and it's the first time that's happened, so that's very good news. So hopefully we can start to see a project done there. On the downside of road work, we are currently experiencing a strike. For those of you who don't know, that there's a strike against the quarries. Not taking a position on the strike, but it's really unfortunately putting municipalities, IDOT, and everybody in a bad spot. We know we have a limited construction season in Chicago, and this is going to impact work, and there's finally funding to get these things done, and now it's stopped because of a few hundred people and a few companies, and it's unfortunate for the other 12 million people in Illinois, and particularly those in the Chicagoland area, which I think about 7 million in the Chicagoland area. And it's going to impact us. I think we're very close to where we're going to be at a stoppage for some of our projects, which means the potential to not finish our road improvement program, not finish some of our road projects. They'll be hung out over the winter. And let's make it clear that there's a specific group of people on both sides that are at issue here. So I encourage the state, if necessary, to get involved in negotiations to get this resolved, so that we can all none of us like to deal with road work, but we do like to have our roads fixed. And we definitely don't want to have them shut down for another winter. So something that we can't control, and we, as you know, have spent a lot of extra money on fixing our local roads, but if we can't get to it and the companies can't get to it, that's going to set us back. And unfortunately, rolling it to next year, we'll have the money, but that doesn't mean that they'll have the capacity, because everyone else will be in the same boat, so we're not going to get as good at pricing, all of those things. So let's hope that this gets done, because a very small group of people in total that are really having a huge negative impact on the state as a whole, the county, and the region, and Orland Park specifically. Lastly, really like to thank people for 4th of July. I think that's the most people I've seen at the 4th of July since the beginning of my tenure. I think maybe the first year of COVID we were close, but they were spread out everywhere throughout the park. But here they were concentrated. I think you got to see a great concert, certainly a great fireworks show. I want to thank Public Works and Recreation, police, fire, and our first responders for making this a great event, not only putting it on, making sure that it got hosted safely, but also to make sure that it kept us all safe as well. So thank you all for all of that hard work. I really appreciate it. And lastly, very hot today. Anyone who walked for 10 feet outside knows how hot it was today. If we have days like this, our cooling center is the police station, so please remember that in the future. If we ever have weather like this in the future, I think we're going to get a cool off tonight and tomorrow. Please make sure you tie everything down, because I think we're going to get some thunderstorms tonight, which tends to happen when we go from this hot to really cold, or a lot cooler. So just be prepared for that. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Chairman.
Trustee Compass.
Move to go into executive session for A, approval of minutes, B, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performances, or dismissal of specific village employees, C, setting a price for sale or lease of village property.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Mayor Pica.
Aye. Go into executive session.